Astros as he becomes the Game 2 starter. As you can see, the ERA up there, but he's a hard-throwing right-hander. And Andrew Lorraine, recently recalled from AAA, just activated before the game, with a pretty good ERA at Iowa, is the starting pitcher for the Cubs. So it's a young left-hander going to the mound against a veteran right-hander, and Game 2 just around the corner. Stay with us, and we'll be back after these messages.
The Leadoff Man was brought to you by Elmhurst Dodge, Illinois' largest Dodge dealer, because of the people.
Once again, time for Cubs baseball. Game 2 of this doubleheader against the Astros. They won Game 1. Cubs go for the split. Big crowd still on hand. Hopeful to see that here on WGN. Hi again, Steve Stone, Chip Carey. Welcome back to Cubs baseball. Astros win it 6-1 in Game 1. It's a good news, bad news scenario for us in Game 2. Good news, no Carl Everett. Bad news, the Killer Bees are in the lineup for Houston.
Biggio and Bagwell both in the lineup, and Sean Bergman, another one of the, well, if not a killer bee, a bee nonetheless.
That's right.
And so he does go fresh off the disabled list, and hopefully he won't have the luck of Carl Everett, who right off the disabled list came through with 4 hits and 5 RBIs in that first game, and essentially did the Cubs in all by himself, although Jay Powell threw the ball pretty well in relief.
Houston now 3 games ahead of the Cincinnati Reds in the National League Central, with another game to play, of course, here today. And to the mound goes left-hander Andrew Lorraine. He's been in the big leagues before, and he has a chance to make a positive impression starting against Houston today.
Well, Chip, sometimes the light turns on a little later for some guys, and with left-handers, they might mature a little later. And the Cubs are hoping to catch lightning in a bottle with Andrew Lorraine, who at times threw the ball very well in AAA. And he has an underrated fastball. It's upwards of 91 miles an hour. If he hits his spots, he could be pretty tough here today. And one thing that's happened during the course of this very long doubleheader is that the wind has shifted. It was blowing out toward right center to start the first game. Now it's blowing straight in, and that's always to the advantage of the pitcher.
Andrew Lorraine looks an awful lot like our old pal Mark Clark, by the way, in that picture that we showed you. Hopefully he'll pitch like Mark Clark did a couple of years ago when he was so tough in the second half of the season for the Chicago Cubs. Astros Cubs, Game 2 of the double dip. Starting lineups come your way right after this. Of our doubleheader between the Cubs and the Houston Astros. A beautiful day for baseball here in Chicago. The Astros won Game 1 of the Twin Bills, 6-1 the final score, and the Cubs looking for the doubleheader split against the first place Houston team. A ball club now 3 games ahead of the Cincinnati Reds in the National League Central. To the mound goes left-hander Andrew Lorraine. He had a good year going down at AAA Iowa, and this is the Astros starting lineup. The Killer Bees are back. That means Biggio, Bagwell, and Bell, with Johnson sandwiched in between. Our old pal Matt Mieske in field bat 5th. Hidalgo in center field bats 6th. Randy Noy the catcher 7th. Tim Bogar the shortstop bats 8th. Sean Bergman pitches bats 9th for Larry Dierker.
And the Pepsi defense for Jim Riggleman and the Cubs in this second game. Rodriguez, Sosa, and Hill left to right. Gaetti, Nieves, Morandini, and Grace in the infield. Joliet, Jeff Reed behind the plate. And Andrew Lorraine on the hill. And there you look at the numbers in AAA, getting his first start of the year. He would fall into the category of much-traveled veteran. But like so many other guys in this league, it takes a while for the light to turn on, and sometimes it does, and you get yourself a very valuable pitcher that 2 or 3 other organizations have passed on, and the Cubs are hoping that's the case with Andrew Lorraine. Left-handers, especially left-handed starters, very hard to come by, and hopefully Andrew Lorraine will have an opportunity to show what he can do and whip up a pretty good one here today as the Cubs try to salvage a split in the doubleheader.
Lorraine's been a well-traveled left-hander. He's pitched with the Angels, the White Sox, the Athletics, the Mariners, and now with the Cubs. And that's the benefit of being left-handed. Every team's always looking for left-handed pitching. Lorraine qualifies quite obviously. He's been around a while. And there's the man that'll call the balls and strikes. Paul Nauert behind the plate. Brian Gorman at first. Eric Gregg at second. Jerry Crawford will be the arbiter over at third. Time to play baseball once again at the friendly confines. And Craig Biggio is set to lead it off for the Houston team. The Astros now 67-43. The Cubs 59-58.
Biggio in Game 1 went 1 for 4, walked, singled, and scored a run. So Andrew Lorraine set to go, and Biggio digs in.
Game 2 underway. Ball 1 misses low and in. 3:34 our first pitch. Game 1 took 2 hours and 52 minutes to play. The 1-0 to Biggio, and it dances right through there. Ball and a strike. Lorraine, Steve, had excellent control down at Iowa. Just 34 walks in 143 innings. He's going to have to hit his spots up here too.
Especially going to have to hit his spots against this team. One of the real good offensive units in our league.
Downstairs to the Houston leadoff man, Craig Biggio. Biggio, a remarkable story, over 160 games in the last 3 consecutive campaigns for Houston. This year they asked him to sit out a couple of ball games. Houston's played 109. Biggio's played 108.
And he probably doesn't even like that.
3 balls, 1 strike. And that's in there, and it's full 3-2.
See all the protection he uses on his lead arm. Doesn't mind getting hit. And will lean out to get some plate coverage over that outside corner where you figure Lorraine would go here.
Here comes the payoff. And it's fouled straight back.
When you have 54 runs batted in for a leadoff hitter, and when you consider that he is always among the league leaders in runs scored, you can tell why he is one of the true leaders in our league.
Again, the 3-2, and it's rifled into right center field. Sammy Sosa playing center field in game 2. He's got that, and Biggio flies out to open up our second game of the Twin Bill. The Cubs have handled Biggio extremely well this season. He's 2 out of 22 now in 1999. So an outfield for the Cubs of Henry in left, Sosa in center, Glenn Allen Hill in right. And Astro third baseman Russ Johnson will be the batter. He went 0 for 2 in game 1. And he's 0 for 1 in game 2. That ball hit right on the button. 2 up, 2 down.
With the wind blowing straight in, you've got to stay aggressive. You don't want to see any walks. You just as soon let him hit the first pitch, and that's what Lorraine did. And Johnson hit it as hard as you can hit it, but Sammy was right there.
So here's the first baseman, Jeff Bagwell, 2 for 4 in game 1. He scored twice, singled, doubled, and walked. And the ball got in on his hands a couple of times by Kyle Farnsworth. Let's see if Lorraine can get away with that same kind of effort in this ball game.
He scored 104 runs so far.
It's just astounding.
It's 104 runs in 110 games. I would say that's pretty good.
Over the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pound for pound, hit for hit. You can say what Mark McGwire's done at first base. There aren't too many better than this guy in all of baseball. He checked his swing. I think they'll appeal at first. And Brian Gorman says no swing. 2 balls and a strike to Bagwell.
Well, there's going to be a red-hot race for the MVP this year, and you're looking at one of the main contenders. As Bagwell, strong enough to check his swing when it looked like he was going to go around.
So the count in the hitter's favor here in the first inning. And it's now 3-1 to Bagwell.
This is where it becomes awfully tough to get out Jeff Bagwell. When he gets this far ahead of you and knows you have to make 2 real good pitches in the zone. Here's a man that's also walked 99 times this year.
3-2.
Sammy had an opportunity in the first game with the wind blowing out toward right center, but now in this second game the wind has picked up and it's blowing straight in, so Sammy's going to hit one of those line drives under the radar.
And there is walk number 100 for Bagwell. He's aboard with 2 outs for Derek Bell, who did not particularly enjoy game 1. Bell went 0 for 5.
Well, just about the time you forget about Bagwell. You have to realize that he combines a tremendous amount of power with some very good speed. 22 steals, and he's been caught 6 times. Now, there's a lot of teams that don't like their power hitters to run the bases. In fact, last year Bagwell only stole 19 all year, but he's been a lot more aggressive this year on the base paths.
Very short lead at first with Bell standing in, and Lorraine gets ahead of him with a quick strike one.
Batting average down to .250 for Derek Bell after a banner year last year. It found him hitting .314 with 108 driven in. He's going to fall short of those numbers this year.
1 ball, 1 strike. Again, a club option for the Astros next year on the services of Derek Bell. Earlier this year, he really was unhappy at being dropped lower in the batting order. Dropped from 2nd to 6th. Thought it was an insult that he was moved down in the order. And many in Houston have grown tired of his complaining, but they haven't grown tired of rocket shots like that. 2 on with 2 out. First today for Bell. He's now 1 for 6 in the twin bill. Well stops at second. And here's our old buddy Matt Mieske, who has been everything the Astros were hoping for when they got him from Seattle.
The 0 for 5 day comes to an end for Derek Bell as he drives it through the left side to keep this first inning alive. And Matt Mieske hitting a robust .380 with 4 home runs and 19 driven in. And when you look at the power numbers, you realize that it has all been accomplished in 50 games.
2 on, 2 out, and Mieske looks at a ball low. 1-0 the count. Matt had some good times with the Cubs. Remember, he started so very slowly with the bat and then caught fire in the middle of the year. The runners go. The pitch is outside. The throw to third, right on the bag. And the old Cardinal rule, never make the first or third out at third. I think the Astros might have missed a sign there as Bagwell is thrown out. 2-5 to retire the side. No runs, 1 hit. 1 man left in a very big first inning break. Houston fails to score. Here come the Cubs in game 2. Our lineup presented by our friends at Pepsi. Mickey Morandini back in the lineup for game 2. Jose Nieves at shortstop. Mark Grace bats third. Sammy Sosa 6 for 10 lifetime against Bergman. Then Henry Rodriguez, Glenn Allen Hill, Joliet, Jeff Reed, Gary Gaetti, and pitcher Andrew Lorraine bats ninth.
And the defense for Larry Dierker and the Houston Astros in this second game. Mieske, Hidalgo, and Bell left to right. Johnson, Bogar, Biggio, and Bagwell in the infield. Randy Knorr behind the plate. And Hartroy, Sean Bergman on the hill for this his 16th start. And Bergman was one of the real surprises of last season for them. He went 12-9 and started 27 games. And along with Lima, who was shifted into the starting rotation, it gave them a pretty good twosome with Garcia and Holt hurt part of last year.
But Bergman's been out for quite some time. Last game pitched June 26th. And his last win June 11th. That was against San Diego.
I would think control would be a big factor today.
Mickey takes a strike. It's 2-1. Morandini 3 for 10 against him lifetime. And 0 for 1 in a pinch in game 1. A high fly ball hit to right. Bell on the run. Got a very good jump. Almost fell down making the grab. And Mickey flies out for out number 1.
This becomes a very difficult sun field right around this time. Derek Bell looking up into that sun. And at the last instant, I think he might have lost this ball. That sun that begins to move a little lower in the west, making it very difficult on right fielders this time of year especially.
So shortstop Jose Nieves, he's batting second in our second game. And he looks at a strike from the pride of Joliet Catholic Academy, right-hander Sean Bergman. 29 years old, 6'4", 225-pound right-hander. And Nieves, I believe, hit by that pitch.
I think he was hit.
And let's see if he's all right.
Is Paul Nauert saying it hit the bat?
No, it hit Nieves. I think it got him on the hand, and he was a little worried. A hand might have gone numb. So Nieves hit by a pitch. He'll take first with one out. And Dave Tumbas, the Cub trainer, gets the A-OK from Nieves.
Jose's been hit a couple of times. It's been a very painful experience for him in the big leagues. Last time he was hit right on the logo. You don't worry about that. Nobody goes on the DL with a pulled logo. But you worry about getting hit off the hand.
Here's Grace, a home run. The lone run scored by the Cubs in the 6-1 defeat in our first game. And Gracie lifetime just 1 for 6 against Bergman.
It is 12th home run, 63rd driven in the first inning of the first game.
And Nieves dives back to first. The home run came in the first inning. It was the first by Grace since July 1st against the Brewers' Hideo Nomo.
Looked like you hit a bunch in that first inning.
Well, we had every angle covered for you in game 1. We were hoping it would count for 5 runs, but it doesn't work that way, unfortunately. 2 balls, no strikes to Grace. They're watching in Phoenix, Arizona. Don Safran enjoying the game on WGN today. Our email address, if you'd like to say hello on the World Wide Web, is CubsTV@interaccess.com. The 2-0 pitch. Nieves dancing at first. And it's outside. 3 balls, no strikes. There it is. CubsTV@interaccess.com. A lot of great emails already today. And we always appreciate hearing from you along the internet. Sure beats the snail mail. Got a lot of birthday greetings from folks from around the country. But unfortunately, the mail didn't get him here in time.
Well, I think you're going to see a hit and run here. I figure if it's a strike, Gracie's going to make contact. And I would send Nieves to try to stay out of the double play.
Grace has wrapped into 9 of those. 3 balls and a strike. Good lead by Jose. He's going. The pitch inside. It's ball 4. The throw had him beat, but it's 2 on, 1 out. As Grace draws the base on balls here in the first. First and second, 1 out for Sammy Sosa. And this is a man that Sosa has really crushed.
I think Randy Knorr was asking Paul Maurer where that fastball was. He thought it was a pretty good pitch. And it would have turned this inning around if he'd have gunned down Nieves at second base.
Bergman looks like he thought it was a strike too. But we'll take the break, and there you see the Sosa numbers against the tall right-hander for the Astros. 2 on, 1 out in the bottom half of the first. Houston failed to score in the first inning of our second game here. The runners lead. The pitch to Sammy is right down the middle. Same story for Bergman in 1999 as 98. Was sidelined from April 10th to the 25th with tendonitis, this time in the right shoulder. This year it was elbow tendonitis that sidelined him. No balls and a strike. Pulled hard toward third. Step on the bag 1. Throw to first. Bagwell holds it. It's a double play, and that retires the Cubs in the first. No runs, no hits. 1 man left after 1. A scoreless game 2. Game. Matt Mieske was the man in the batter's box when Bagwell was thrown out trying to steal third. And it'll be Mieske, Hidalgo, and Randy Knorr against left-hander Andrew Lorraine, who will turn 27 in 5 days. Andrew just 26, born in Los Angeles. College pitcher at Stanford University, earned a bachelor's degree in American Studies back in 1994. Silver medalist on the West squad of the 1990 U.S. Olympic Festival. Bronze medal with the U.S. team in the 1990 Junior World Baseball Championships in Cuba. So he's had some international competition as well, and he's pitched internationally as a professional in Vancouver, Canada, and Edmonton in the minor leagues. 0-1 to Mieske, and the count evens 1-1. I'm real happy for Matt that he's gone from Seattle to Houston, a chance to perhaps be a member of a World Series team for the Astros. But getting there's the hard part, obviously. And he's been just terrific for the Houston team.
He's had the occasional leg problem, but when he's been healthy, he's been a force since coming over. And he'll get a chance to start against many of the left-hand starters in this league.
1-2. High pop. Watch the wind play with this ball. Mickey Morandini has it. Mieske's retired. 1 down.
No problem for the dandy little glove man as he snags it. Hidalgo got a chance to pinch hit in that first game, and he came through with a base hit. He gets a chance to start the second game, and here's another guy that's been kind of banged up. And he had to play a lot of center field in the absence of Carl Everett. But now Everett is back. And Hidalgo will get his opportunity.
He just turned 24 the other day, July 2nd. And he's a product of Caracas, Venezuela. Boy, the Astros have a great academy in Venezuela. They have brought a lot of players to the big leagues with that baseball school. A high drive hit to right center. Sammy and Hill converge. Sosa puts that away. And Hidalgo's retired, out number 2. Earlier today, that might have been a home run.
First part of the first game, that's in the seats for a souvenir. But the wind is blowing straight in. It knocked it down. And Sammy has a chance to drift under it. Another Venezuelan they got out of that academy, Chip, was Bobby Abreu, who's been all everything for the Philadelphia Phillies this year. And Sammy puts it away rather easily. 2 up, 2 down.
Yeah, it was a terrific trade by the Phillies. Abreu was an expansion pick by Tampa Bay, and the Phillies gave up Kevin Stocker to get their power hitting right fielder. Randy Knorr batting just .059 on the year. No homers or RBIs. They've gone through a lot of catchers this season in Houston. Mitch Molesky, their star player out of the minor leagues, tore up a shoulder. He's done for the year. Eusebio's been banged up.
Eusebio on the disabled list with some hamstring problems. They're getting Ricky Gutierrez back on Monday.
We talked about it in game 1. It really is amazing that Houston's done what it's done, considering their entire left side of the infield and outfield's been gone for almost the entire year. Their center fielder has missed some time, and their everyday catcher's been hurt, no matter who it is. They've done a very, very good job down there. 3 balls and a strike to Knorr. A high fly ball hit right at Sammy. He'll back up, and Lorraine using the wind to his advantage. 1, 2, 3, 4 flyouts already in this ball game. Houston subdued in the second. We're still scoreless.
For Jason Lee, live for the rush. Tonight at 7 on WGN.
Scoreless after 1.5. And Cubs fans, Sunday, August 22nd is your chance to receive a Mark Grace Milk Mustache Growth Chart. The first 10,000 children attending the Cubs Rockies game get a Mark Grace Milk Mustache Growth Chart, compliments of the American Dairy Association. Got milk? For tickets, call 312-831-CUBS. And a tip of the cap to that man, the Whistler, Billy Williams, the Hall of Famer for the Cubs, made his Major League debut 40 years ago today.
Seems like just yesterday when I was facing him and he was hitting the ball out of the park consistently. Boy, what a great hitter he was.
Hall of Famer, of course, 426 lifetime home runs, a Rookie of the Year. And his number 26 forever. retired and flying on the foul pole down the right field line here at the friendly confines. Henry leads things off and looks at the ball inside. Well, no surprise here, Stoney, on the email. Jeff Weisbrot, big Cincinnati Reds fan, pulling for the Cubs today to salvage a split in our doubleheader.
Our Combat Power profile is Henry Rodriguez and the doubleheader records. Billy Williams and Ron Santo. And they hold the records. And Henry trying to do something that ties him with those records.
So a base hit to right for Henry, leading off our second inning. And Glenn Allen Hill will be the batter. He's playing right field today. Enjoyed your conversation with Andy McPhail. Quite obviously, the season has not gone the way the Cubs were hoping. They built the team with the intention of winning in the 1999 campaign. That is probably not going to happen. As you see, our Billy Williams profile along with Coach Ron Santo.
And Ron Santo, the most runs batted in a doubleheader. Those are the Cub records. I think both of them will be safe today.
But a question from a big Cub fan named Kevin Brewer and Adam Brewer in Sergeant Bluff, Iowa. How busy will the Cubs be, Stoney, in free agency this year? As Hill looks at ball one and then ball two.
Had we only had that question as we did the leadoff man show between games, because I don't know the answer to that, but I'm sure that Ed Lynch and Andy McPhail will be discussing that very situation as they find out just exactly who's available via free agency.
And I think a lot of it's going to have to do with how well young players like Chad Myers, Jose Nieves play. If a guy like an Andrew Lorraine or a Kyle Farnsworth or Micah Bowie, how well those guys perform, because they are auditioning for jobs next year, and if they can fill spots. As Hill looks inside, that obviously allows you to use those revenues instead of signing players for those positions to go get what you feel your most pressing need will be. Hill in the driver's seat ahead, 3 balls and a strike. The pitch, and he walks on a fastball nowhere near the plate. Second walk for Bergman, 2 on, nobody out, and it's the battle of Joliet. Jeff Reed against the right-hander Bergman. And before Jeff bats, let's pause for station identification.
This is America's #1 sports station, WGN, Chicago.
Beautiful day for a doubleheader at Wrigley Field. Astros won Game 1. Cubs trying to salvage Game 2. And our first scoring opportunity against Bergman went by the boards in the first. Another chance here in the second.
Jeff Reed had a pinch single in the 9th inning of that first game.
And it went right back up the middle. Downstairs, says Paul Nauert. And Randy Knorr pops out and talks to his pitcher.
You'd have to figure, as much time as Sean Bergman spent on the disabled list, that he would not have pinpoint control today. And that's why patience, which is usually a virtue in baseball, will be even more important this afternoon.
The 1-0. A rope hit to Bagwell. He's going to second one. Relay first is not in time. Bergman missed the bag.
That would have been a double play, but Bergman looked like he stepped on both sides of the bag and didn't get the bag. Ryan Gorman on the call, and the Cubs get a break. Bagwell makes a very good play. He's only made 5 errors all year, and he's thinking about 2, knowing that Jeff Reed is running. This is a good, solid toss, and Bogar on the return to Bergman, who cannot locate the bag. Glenn Allen Hill with a nice job of trying to disrupt the double play, but if Bergman had his foot on the bag anywhere, it would have been 2.
So a break. First and third, 1 away for Gary Gaetti. Lifetime 5 for 11 against the Astros right-hander. Cubs try to break in front here in inning number 2 and salvage a split. And ball one misses outside. Happy 74th birthday to Rose Kelly, watching the game today in Harpers Ferry, Iowa. Born on this day in 1925, her entire family watching the game with her today here on WGN. The 1-0 inside corner for a strike.
Gary Gaetti has had a disappointing year, certainly. But when you look at 38 hits and 34 runs driven in, it's a pretty good percentage. However, that batting average has consistently been under 200.
8 homers, 34 driven in for the G-man, Gary Gaetti, who for a while was talking about retirement. I think he's going to battle through and finish out the year and then decide what his options will be. The pitch is looped over short, in for a hit. Gaetti drives home the game's first run. Henry scores. Give Gaetti his 35th RBI on his 39th hit.
Gary just able to get this over the head of Tim Bogart. Didn't miss it by much, just enough. And now we'll see Andrew Lorraine in a bunt situation.
Andrew Lorraine has never batted in the big leagues. Lifetime American leaguer, so this is the first time he's stood in a big league batter's box. You're supposed to hit that little white thing, Andrew. That's the baseball.
Not this time. He's supposed to bunt it.
Well, make contact, I mean, I guess.
And they slid Bogart in back of Johnson at third. And now Tom Gamboa wants to talk with Andrew.
Well, they're watching in Nova Scotia, up north in Canada, from Cape Breton Island. Francis A. McDonald from his or her farm.
Going to smoke a couple of salmon for me.
Better the salmon than the cigars, that's for sure. The pitch is down and in. 2 balls, no strikes. Tom Gamboa flashing the signs. Well, it's got to be a tough spot for guys like Myers and Lorraine. Their first day up, they're playing. They got to figure out a whole new set of signs.
Well, this is going to be the bunt sign.
Just pick out the right one, Andrew.
Make sure it's
2 on,
strike.
1 out. He offered at it and he missed it. It's 2-1. Blake Martin watching today in Income, Idaho on WGN. Jim and Angela Dustman welcome to brand new baby boy David into the world. They're watching in Motor City, Detroit, Michigan. Justin Neff checking us out in South Bend, Indiana. The 2-1. Oh, he swung and it's just foul. Oh man, Russ Johnson saw his life flash before his eyes.
Well, Tim Bogart, who was covering third, had that been a fair ball, would have had a good chance at making the play, because they were sliding him and back at Johnson again. Johnson was charging and Andrew takes a little swing at it, and there's a surprise for Johnson.
He puts on the brakes. And now you know why there are only 5 or 6 third basemen in the Hall of Fame, because not many survive with plays like that. So the count now 2-2, runners first and second. The stretch and the pitch. Andrew got the bunt down. Only one play, and the sacrifice works beautifully. 5-4, runners second and third, 2 out for Morandini.
Pretty nice at bat for a man who's never hit. He almost got a double down the line, and then with 2 strikes, he lays down a perfect bunt. Good effort.
Well, Stoney, you'll be glad to know this. Great email from our friends in Toronto. Toronto loves you and doubleheaders, says Anthony Rosenberg.
Well,
You're big in 2 countries.
This is our first doubleheader of the year, you know. Imagine how much they're going to like the next one.
That's against Cincinnati. Runners second and third for the dandy little glove man Mickey Morandini, who flied out to lead off the bottom of the first inning. Cubs lead it 1-0. An RBI single by Gary Gaetti. The 1-0 is high. Bill Cook watching the game in Overton, Nevada on WGN. Two on, two out. Right through there. It's 2-1. All the other baseball is later. National League action. Arizona's in Philadelphia tonight. The big unit Randy Johnson will pitch for the Diamondbacks against Randy Wolf. He's 5-3. The unit 11-8 for Arizona. Mickey pulls it through the right side for a hit. Reed scores. Gaetti rounds third. He'll score without a throw. Morandini drives home 2, and the Cubs lead 3-0.
That one took the high hop at the end. Bagwell thought he could knock it down, but just when he was about ready to make his dive, this ball took a real bad hop for Jeff Bagwell and a real good hop for Mickey Morandini. Watch Bagwell. He goes down. He thinks he's going to get it, but it takes the high hop over his head. And Mickey drives and runs 31 and 32.
With a big 2-out hit, he does that. And here's Nieves hit by a pitch. His first time up, and he fouls that ball off. Elsewhere in baseball, the Giants are in Atlanta tonight. San Francisco sends Sean Estes against Greg Maddux. Estes 7-6, Maddux 12-6. Colorado's in Florida. San Diego at Montreal. Tony Gwynn goes for number 3,000 tonight. And he'll face Dan Smith, the man that tormented us. Mickey on the hit and run. Might have had second base stolen, and Nieves could not stop himself from pulling the trigger, and he falls behind 0-2. I sure hope the folks in Montreal go out to see Tony Gwynn. If he gets 3,000 tonight, he deserves to have it happen before a bigger crowd than 8,000 folks.
I'm not sure that's going to happen. But he wanted to get it done last night in front of a lot of family and a lot of his friends in St. Louis. But it did not work out that way.
The 0-2 is lined up the middle. Base hit Nieves. He went down and just whacked that ball into center field. He's starting to get a reputation as a pretty good bad ball hitter.
Pretty good breaking ball hitter. As he takes this low slider and takes it right back up the middle. The fourth Cub hit of the inning. And here comes Vern Rule. Talk with Sean Bergman, who hasn't fared very well.
If only Vern was coaching for this Astro team in the bright sunny skies, he'd get himself a nice tan and then he'd be the Golden Rule.
You see it coming from too far away.
I know. I just thought I'd just serve it up on a tee for you so you could bury me. That's not a surprise. 3-0 for the Cubs in the second inning. Much more fun in this ball game as opposed to yesterday, or the first game of this twin bill.
What time's your flight?
Not quick enough, Mr. Critic. Two on, two out. Oh, you got to have a little fun, folks. The pitch is outside, ball 1. Grace walked in the first. 3 runs, 4 hits in the second. Popped up and out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. The pitch to Gracie. Swing and a miss. Well, congratulations, Stoney, to your Phoenix Suns. They picked up Penny Hardaway in that big trade from Orlando yesterday. Boy, what a backcourt they could have in Phoenix if everybody stays healthy with Jason Kidd and Mr. Hardaway.
And going to get the rebounds is usually the thing that tells the tale for the Suns.
1-2. Now time called. I'm happy for Penny. He did not enjoy his last couple of years in Orlando. A lot of injuries, a lot of discord, and hopefully a new address will help him straighten himself out, and good health to follow. He's a terrific player. And the Magic really, I guess, saw the trade market dry up on him. That's the only deal they could make. Danny Manning, Pat Garrity, and a couple of number ones for Penny Hardaway. The pitch is out of play. Foul by Mark Grace. 8th on the all-time Cub hit list is Gracie. And how about the catch by that young lady? How about the catch by that portly man? He's going a lot better than she is. 3-0 Cubs lead it here in the 2nd inning. The pitch. Oh, Grace couldn't stop himself. He knew it. He strikes out. And the inning is over. But a very good one for the Cubs. 3 runs, 4 hits. Gaetti an RBI single. Morandini drives home 2, and the Cubs lead by 3 heading to the 3rd. It's 3-0 after 2. Cubs have the lead, and Tim Bogar's going to lead it off. Andrew Lorraine's got the 3-run advantage. His sacrifice helped ignite that 3-run Cubs outburst against Sean Bergman. It's Bogart, Bergman, and Biggio. The Killer Bees ready to strike here in inning number 3. That's downstairs. 2 balls and a strike. Same 2 teams tomorrow. Kevin Tapani, Scott Ellerton. That ought to be a pretty good pitching matchup. Kevin Tapani's got to right the ship. He hasn't won in a while. High drive belted deep toward right. Hill on the run, flips the glasses down, circles the wagons, and Bogart retired.
Once again, thank you, Wynn, as that ball hit awfully hard. But Glenn Allen Hill had time as the wind knocked it down to go back and make the play.
7 outs, 5 of them in the air by Lorraine today.
And this is why you just don't want to walk anybody. Let him hit it. Lorraine throwing a lot of fly balls, but this is a good day to throw. And Glenn Allen Hill stays with it, drifts as the wind starts to take it away from him, and makes the catch.
Here's Bergman. He takes the ball low. 1 ball, no strikes. Bergman, a lifetime .086 hitter, but did something this year that had never been done this century. In his first 2 at-bats this year, he hit home runs.
Suppose you think that's good.
Well, coming from a man who specialized in giving them up, yes, I would say that is pretty good.
It's a very lively ball era.
Well, I will grant you that. 2 balls, no strikes. And high, 3-0. He thinks he's pitching to Babe Ruth.
Well, he heard what you just said about 2 home runs his first 2 at-bats. And he's been held right there since those first 2 at-bats. One thing he has failed to do this year, however, Chip, is draw a walk. It's been the one hole in his offensive game.
3-1. You've lost your mind, I think. There's no question about it. It's 3-2. Hole in his game. How about the holes in your head?
Can we get a shot of that guy that looked like Colonel Sanders, that dressed like Arnie? Get a good picture of him outside the ballpark.
I can't argue with you, Steve, as much as I want to. I just can't do it. The 3-2. Little pop. Nieves Thought he had to hustle back, but the wind blows it right back to him in shallow left field, and Bergman is out number 2. 5 men in a row have been retired. Best seat in the house today is inside the Monster.com blimp flying overhead, bringing us this magnificent view from overhead. Monster.com is the leading global careers website. Our thanks to those fine folks for providing those beautiful overhead pictures of our Wrigley Field double dip today.
Only one hit given up by Andrew Lorraine. And then kind of an ill-advised base running play by Jeff Bagwell, getting cut down at third base to take them out of that first inning.
And the way Mike Cubbage reacted, their third base coach, I really think they missed a sign. Stoney, get your hands up. It's overhead and bouncing toward our vehicles.
I was ready, but it was a little too high.
1 ball, 1 strike to Biggio, hitting a hefty .452 in the last 12 Houston games. And that's going to improve. That one almost took Lorraine's glove hand off. Second Houston hit. And let's see what Biggio has in mind with 2 outs here in the third.
He hasn't been particularly adventuresome on the base paths, and because they're down by 3, you'd figure that he would be stationed right there. As Biggio goes right back up the middle, right off the glove of Mr. Lorraine, and that one came very close to his coconut.
Biggio now 3 for 23 against the Cubs this year. And Russ Johnson, the batter, he lined hard to center, had a very good cut, but Sammy came charging in to make the play. 1 ball, no strikes to the Houston third baseman.
This becomes a very big out for Andrew, because if you don't get Johnson, then you have to face Bagwell representing the tying run, and that's never an enviable task, regardless of which way the wind is blowing.
Well, they're watching us in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. PGA Golf Pro Jeff Markham and the crew at the Buckskin Golf Course checking us out in Richland, Washington today. Hope the birdies are chirping for you guys.
Big tournament coming up at Medina in the not too distant future, right around the corner. All the boys will be in for that one. Talking with the folks from Medina, they're going to toughen it up somewhat.
That's the way it ought to be. The 2-0. As much as I hate to admit it, I love seeing those guys get 8s on par 3s every now and then. Kind of reminds me of my game.
I saw your game the other day. It's vastly improved. Now that you're holding the club with 2 hands.
There's a strike, 3-1.
That was a good day with Dan Roan out at Ruffled
Had a good
Feathers.
time, yes indeed. Folks out there were nice to us. And you were beaten by a skinny stroke on the 18th hole by Mr. Roan. 3-1. Ripped hard to the shortstop. Nieves, nice pickup. 360 spin, throw to second in time. That ball hit right on the button, but Jose made a fine play to force Biggio and retire the side. Cubs 3, Astros nothing after 2.5. A patriotic young fan in the bleachers, and they hit it big. So has Tyus Meadows. Our Illinois Lottery hit it big report, Steve.
Take a look at what he's done at Lansing, and things are starting to get better for him. So, Tyus Meadows with a chance, and he has indeed hit it big for the Illinois Lottery.
There's a lot of great players down at that Lansing ball club. Still a long way to go for their major league journey to come true, but you have to be encouraged with what some of those players have put up numbers wise here in the 1999 season. Sammy leads it off. First pitch swinging, ground ball to third. Johnson to his right. Good play, good throw. 1 pitch, 1 out. We've seen some great defense in this ball game today.
That was a real good effort. Sammy Sosa, who grounded into the 5-3 double play to Johnson in the first inning, tests him again. He might not want to hit it to this guy. It looks like he's got a very strong arm as he makes the long throw across the diamond with plenty to spare.
Henry stands in, 1 away here in the third. 3-0 Cubs have the lead. Henry singled to lead off the second inning against Sean Bergman. It is a double-edged sword for Larry Dierker. Yes, they're going to get Caminiti back. Yes, they've gotten Everett back. Yes, they're going to get Moises Alou back. But it is a cause of concern because everybody else is playing so well for them. He's got to wonder how good are those guys going to be when they finally get healthy.
Well, Larry said primarily the same thing, Chip, because obviously you'd like to get the guys back, but when you realize how much time, in the case of Alou, he's missed, you wonder, after all that time missed, what he will come back with on September 1st. Same thing with Caminiti, who's missed a good portion of this season. And so if they don't come back ready to go, you've got to ease them back in the lineup and see just what they can do. Caminiti went down hitting .292.
Henry hits a high fly ball into center field. The wind's going to make that one die in center pasture. Hidalgo puts it away. 2 up, 2 down.
But it's a nice dilemma when you have ball players the quality of Alou and Caminiti coming back. They just got Everett back. We saw how destructive he can be. And this team will only get better as they move along. But, you know, despite playing good solid baseball for a prolonged period of time, you have to hand it to the Cincinnati Reds. The fact that they've been able to stay as close, and what's happened to their starting rotation, which has been in and out all year.
Guzman, though, gave him a huge lift, albeit in a losing effort. He pitched a terrific ball game yesterday.
Yeah, you lose 2-1. You figure that offense is good enough if you hold the opposition to 2 to win more times than not.
And they had a chance to win it in the 9th inning. Had a couple of guys on, but couldn't get the tying or go-ahead run on. Glenn Allen Hill hits a shot to the opposite field. That'll hit the wall. Hill will hit second base with a 2-out double. Well, Hill not traded at the trading deadline. Now he's trying to play himself into the Cubs' plans in the year 2000.
It's a high fastball, and the ball just explodes off the bat of Glenn Allen Hill. This is very high outfield grass, and yet it just cuts its way through, goes against the ivy, and Glenn Allen winds up at second base. So he'll improve on that .331 batting average.
And now 7 2-base hits on the year for Joliet Jeff Reed, who bounced into a force play and later scored in the 2nd inning. Cubs 3, Astros nothing. They beat us 6-1 in game 1. Big Cub fan Herman Wilkinson watching us down in Panama City, Panama today. Well, we get email from all over the world watching Cubs baseball. Reed fouls that off. It's 0-2. Happy 83rd birthday to Ray Hainsworth in Gulfport, Florida.
If you love your baseball, you're going to have a chance to see a triple header today. Not only the double header, but the Sox at Oakland tonight on WGN. That's a lot of baseball. Going to have to run home and check that out. Maybe keep score along with
2 good young
Hawk
teams.
and Wimpy.
Absolutely.
Look for a duck snorter too.
You've never been afraid to score at home. The 0-2 pitch is fouled back to the screen. It stays 0-2. Happy 16th birthday to Kyle Smith of Valiant, Oklahoma. Kyle, the keys to the car are out in the mailbox. Go check right now. Oh, and 2. The pitch. Breaking ball out against it. And that retires the Cubs here in the 3rd. No runs, 1 hit. 1 man left. After 3, it's the Cubs 3. Houston 0. In the career of Mr. Cub Ernie Banks. He got the call from the Hall of Fame in 1977 and was inducted August 9th of that year.
Sunshine, fresh air. We got the team behind us. So let's play 2.
And Ernie, we're going to take your advice today. Mr. Cub, Ernie Banks, a Hall of Fame memory. That's today's Payback Playback. And there's the Hall of Fame flag of Mr. Cub Ernie Banks down the left field line above the foul pole.
Ernie was here the other day. It's always a pleasure to see him. And what a career he had. Moving from shortstop eventually to first base.
A high rocket hit straight up in the air into center field by Bagwell. Sammy's got it. 2 pitches, 1 out here in the Houston 4th. You know, all the talk about the revolutionary play of big league shortstops over in the American League with A-Rod and Jeter and Nomar Garciaparra and Barry Larkin. I think a lot of people forget, believe it or not, about Ernie Banks.
Ernie was one of the first real slugging shortstops. I mean, this is a man with over 500 home runs. Spent a great deal of his career at shortstop before shifting to first base. But you didn't, in those days, associate big power with shortstops. It was a defensive position. It certainly changed. I mean, obviously you want the defense, but now we're seeing a different type of player.
Well, a much bigger player, too. You used to think of the shortstop being a Luis Aparicio or an Ozzie Smith-sized kind of player. Now they're all 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", like A-Rod and Garciaparra.
Well, they had Ron Hansen in those days, and he was a big shortstop. Didn't have that kind of power. But, you know, there was some controversy at first in Baltimore about the shifting of Cal Ripken over to shortstop.
He was originally a third baseman.
Yeah, because he was such a big man. And they envisioned the fact that he would take over a position that Brooks Robinson played. But that shift to shortstop didn't hurt the offense or the defense of Cal Ripken, because quite obviously a man headed for the Hall of Fame had a wonderful career at that position.
Or the durability.
Well, yeah, you would say he was fairly durable.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Cal's on the DL right now with a bad back. And if you're watching today, Cal, hope you're feeling better. Baseball misses you. Get well soon. Bell rung up for the first time in the doubleheader in game 2, and he's 1 for 2. 2 up, 2 down.
Andrew Lorraine dealing today. And if you're around the plate all the time, and he's been around the plate, you're going to get the benefit of those close calls. So just the 1 walk, that to Bagwell, and that was erased on a caught stealing. And other than that, Lorraine has been ahead of most of these Astro hitters.
So Bell struck out once in each game. First time today. First for Lorraine. And here's Matt Mieske, 3-hopper to second. Mickey to an E. And now Lorraine starting to mix in a few ground balls. That's helping his cause. He's through the 4th. 1, 2, 3. Cubs 3. Houston nothing. Nothing. And Cub fans, this Tuesday is Keychain Day at the ballpark. The first 10,000 adults attending the Cubs Diamondbacks game get a keychain compliments of Scalas. For tickets, dial 312-831-Cubs. Good tickets available for the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday games against the Diamondbacks. Gary Gaetti with an RBI single in the second inning leads things off. What a career this guy has had. Over 2,000 hits, 300 home runs. As a major league player.
And 11 grand slams.
Boy, the ballpark never looked prettier. And it has today. Just a delightful day for a ball game or 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. You guessed. What'd you guess for the attendance in game 1?
37,752.
All right, I was 38,042. Ooh, we both picked a 2 for the last number. That's never a good sign. What's that?
That's Cobb KS.
Well, terrifying is what it is.
Well, a few of the folks have gone home. Not all that many, though. It's still pretty crowded at Wrigley Field.
3 balls, 2 strikes now to Gaetti. What are the Houstons expecting out of Bergman today? Again, it's been a long time since he's pitched.
Well, I think if they could get 5 innings out of him and keep it at 3 runs, I think they would be very happy.
Ripped right to the third baseman. Gaetti's getting some good cuts. Johnson takes care of him, however. 1 away in the Cubs' 4th.
He hit a lot of pitches in that second inning. And from the left field camera, we'll take a look at Gary, who hit one right on the nose, but right at Russ Johnson. Now, in the second inning, he didn't get much of it, but turned into a base hit and an RBI.
Here's Andrew Lorraine. He has a good cut, fouls it straight back. Cardinals are playing a doubleheader today. They're in Pittsburgh. They lead 1-0. That game moves on to the third. Let's see if Big Mac's playing in game 1. Oh, that double dip. McGuire is playing, does have an RBI, but did not hit a home run. McGuire's just having an unbelievable second half of the year. Fact.
It's 17 home runs in 21 games.
And he's your RBI leader with 102 now on the campaign. Lorraine, 1-2. How much longer can Mark McGuire play? I guess it all depends on health, obviously, but does he have a realistic chance at 700 home runs? It's 200 away.
Well, if he gets the next 100 as quickly as he got the last 100, anything is possible.
Last night, we understand during his press conference, McGuire said if his back holds up, he sees himself playing another 5 years. It's 70 over 5 years. That's 350. He'll have 850. Lorraine strikes out. 2 up, 2 down here in the fourth.
That might be a little ambitious.
Well, thought I'd do the math for you.
But he might be able to average 45 home runs a year.
That's 225. And
so you're knocking at the door.
Knocking at the door, exactly. Here's Mickey Morandini. Mickey has driven home 2 today. A base hit back in the second inning.
That was a big hit because it was a 2-out, 2 RBI base hit, and it gave Andrew Lorraine a little breathing room.
And he's used the ballpark very well today. He said to Houston, here it is, hit it in the air. And they haven't been strong enough to hit a home run in game 2 yet today. Cubs 3, Houston nothing. We're in the bottom half of the fourth inning. Steve Stone, Chip Carey, our entire WGN crew at beautiful Wrigley Field. All the other baseball, except for that Cardinal Pirate doubleheader, gets underway later. San Diego's in Montreal. Florida hosts Colorado. Giants are in Atlanta. Arizona battles the Phillies in National League play. A high fly driven toward left center field. Mieske and Hidalgo. It's the former Cub Matt Mieske puts that away. And the Cubs down in order in the fourth inning. We mosey along to the fifth. Richard Hidalgo will lead things off. It's a 3-0 Cub game. Chip Carey, welcome back to game 2 of this doubleheader. Andrew Lorraine's used the ballpark very well. A lot of flyouts, but with the wind blowing in this way, you like to see that.
And I like the fact that he's been aggressive. His control has been good. So this is a tremendous debut this year for Andrew Lorraine. His first look at the National League. So far, it's been very successful.
And he faces Richard Hidalgo leading things off. Fans in Cincinnati hoping the Cubs can split this doubleheader. The Astros at the moment 3 games ahead of the Reds, who play a bit later.
And so far, things going very well as Mickey Morandini helped out the cause with his 31st and 32nd run batted in. Now the Cubs have a 3-run lead.
3-0 is our score. Hidalgo leading things off for the Astros. And Lorraine continues to get ahead of the hitters. Hidalgo flied to center his first time up. And he looks at a ball. Ah, yes. Look at that youngster. Perhaps a future Cub or Astro. Enjoying the game today at the ballpark.
Wondering how long a doubleheader takes. We're wondering the same thing. Oh, please be over.
He looks like he's related to Leo Mazzoni the way he's rocking back and forth.
Well, maybe he's a little pitching coach in waiting.
He has too much hair to be one of Leo's kids, though. The ground ball to third. Across in time. And Hidalgo is out number 1. I'm just kidding, Leo. You know that. Here's Randy Knorr. Well, they're watching us down in Houston. Bob Warmbrook enjoying the Cubs telecast on WGN. He's rooting for the enemy today. Well, we're glad he's with us here on Channel 9.
Houston bullpen up and going.
Here's Knorr. He looks outside. Pitcher spot due up fourth for Houston in this fifth inning. They trail by 3. If Knorr or Bogart could get on, they might pinch hit for Bergman here.
I'm pretty sure they would do just that.
A high pop. Let's see if that one stays in play. Jeff Reed makes the play. 2 outs here in the fifth. And Tim Bogar will be the batter. He fly to right his first time up.
Taking a little bit too much time here. The young man has decided that a nap would be in order.
Here's Bogart. 2 up, 2 down. Carl Everett was the star of game 1. He drove in 5. And it's low, 2-0.
I think Tim Bogart has the fate of Sean Bergman in his hands. If he gets on, you would think that Larry Dierker would go to the bench.
Ground ball hit to Nieves at short. He's caught everything since that first game here in Chicago. 3 up, 3 down again. Lorraine's retired 7 straight. We're through 4.5 with the Cubs in front by 3. Upcoming schedule again brought to you by the new Pepsi AC Chewables.
2 more games with the Astros tomorrow afternoon and Sunday night. And then the Diamondbacks come to town Monday night right here on WGN. And that's the upcoming schedule for the new Pepsi AC Chewable.
Nieves, Grace, and Sosa will try to make those fans happy. What do you think of the kid, Jose Nieves, so far?
I think he's played pretty well. He'll have to start getting out of the way of a few of those fastballs. And if he can do that,
it's going to help your on-base percentage, but it's not going to help your bruise quotient.
No, it's going to be very painful at bats for him. Been hit a couple of times.
Little bloop single into center field. He's 2 out of 2. So Grace will stand in.
Inside fastball, and Jose is able to bring his hands in and just muscle this ball into center field.
Mark went 2 for 4 in game 1 with a homer and RBI. He's walked and struck out today in our second game of the doubleheader. Runner at first, nobody out. The pitch. High drive hit to left. That's playable for Matt Miske. 1 away. Nieves back to first.
Sammy's played better with Russ Johnson third base. So let's see if he can avoid the young third baseman this time.
Want to send along happy birthday greetings to Liz and David Perry. They're watching the game out in Las Vegas, Nevada. And here is Sosa. Sammy leads the National League in extra base hits. Crowd wants to see him hit one out of the ballpark. He's 0 for 5 in the doubleheader. Nieves at first. The pitch is high, ball 1.
The invisible man is on deck.
The 1-0. Swing and a miss. A ball and a strike.
They're pumping nitrous oxide into Arnie's section of the truck.
I thought for a minute that the Riddler was in our earpiece. 1 ball, 1 strike to Sammy. Runner at first, 1 man out. Big Cub fan from Orlando, Florida, Saunder Reed at the ball game today. The 1-1 pitch. He didn't go around. It's 2-1.
Jose's getting a pretty good lead at first base, and I think he realizes that Bergman doesn't have the best move. So normally you don't see a lot of running with Sammy up. But the Cubs would certainly love to add to their lead.
2 balls, 1 strike. The pitch. Pulled through the hole, base hit for Sosa. Nieves will stop at second. 2 are on, 1 out.
Sammy finally gets one through the left side, taking it to the left of Johnson, to the right of Bogar, in the left field.
A couple other milestones in sight for a couple of baseball's best hitters. Frank Thomas of the White Sox, Harold Baines of the Orioles, close to becoming active players with 300 homers, 1,000 RBIs, and 1,000 walks in their respective careers. That's amazing. Thomas needs a homer. Baines needs 2 walks.
The bullpen up and going.
Only 5 other players have done that. Their names: Barry Bonds, Chili Davis, Fred McGriff, Mark McGuire, and Cal Ripken. One ball, no strikes. The count to Cub left fielder Henry Rodriguez. Ripped foul back, had a good cut. AP reporting on their wire today the rumors of Major League realignment are swirling again, with the chance that the Expos could end up in Charlotte. One scenario would involve the creation of 4 4-team National League divisions: West, Central, South, and East. The plan would include the Diamondbacks trading leagues with Tampa Bay. The Tampa Bay team would be in the National League South with Atlanta, Florida, and Charlotte. The AL West would expand to 5 teams with the addition of the Diamondbacks. The AL East would shrink to 4 teams. Wouldn't that be interesting? I know baseball said to the D-backs, we'll guarantee you 2 years as a National League team, and then after that all bets might be off.
I would think Atlanta would be very happy with that particular division. They might win it for 20 years.
Right now they need some help. They're trailing the Mets as we speak.
Well, right now the division looks a little tougher than that one would be.
2 balls, 1 strike. The pitch to Henry is outside. It's 3-1. Glenn Allen Hill waiting on deck, and Bergman,
he's running out of gas.
Yeah. And you'd expect that. Again, he hasn't pitched since the 26th of June when Cincinnati beat him. And again, that realignment stuff, just all talk and speculation, but baseball has said that they would like to have some more realignment, perhaps more along geographical lines. But they've got to solve the fates of where several teams are going to reside in the next couple of years. 3-1, belted deep toward right. That ball is way out of here. 3-run homer for Henry, and it's a 6-0 game.
Homer number 21. Henry's now driven in 75. And Sean Bergman has hit the wall. And so has Henry.
Only the chain link fence kept that ball from getting out onto Sheffield Avenue. Henry Rodriguez absolutely creamed that ball. It's a 3-run homer, and that's going to do it for Sean Bergman, who gives up 6 runs in 4 innings and a third. 4 innings and a third, 8 hits, 6 runs. Bergman struck out a couple of men. He gave up 1 home run. He also walked a pair. But the Astros hoping he'll just come back and get healthy for this Houston team. He got roughed up today, but he did come back and worked 4 innings and a third in his first outing since late June.
And for Southwest Airlines, how far did it fly? 369 happy feet.
6-0 Cubs. To the Houston pen we go here in the 5th. Back with more in a moment.
They say
Cubs, a 3-run Henry Rodriguez homer here in the 5th inning has chased Sean Bergman. Brian Williams becomes the new pitcher. Before we tell you about him, let's pause for station identification.
This is America's #1 sports station, WGN, Chicago.
Back at beautiful Wrigley Field. Glad you're with us for Game 2 of our triple header. 2 Cubs-Astros games. Then the Sox and the Athletics later on tonight. And Williams will face Hill with 1 out in the 5th inning.
Williams comes on for the 31st time, a 1-1 record, a 4.79 ERA, and Billy Spires checks in. He'll hit in the 9th spot.
And that means he will lead off the Houston 6th. Andrew Lorraine, a huge lead now with the wind blowing in. 6-0 ball game, and it's Williams against Glenn Allen Hill, who has walked and has doubled.
As Brian Williams, control has usually stopped him from being as effective as he would like.
That ball hit sharply toward third. Russ Johnson, though, has played very well over there, and Hill is out number 2. Williams is 6'2", 225 pounds, 5 full seasons in the major leagues. Lives in Sugar Land, Texas. Last year pitched in the Japanese League for the Fukuoka Daiei Hawks. He's also pitched with the Astros before, San Diego, Detroit, and Baltimore in the big league. So his second go round down in the Dome. Here's Jeff Reed. He is 0 for 2, but has scored a run. And he looks at a strike. That bright orange monster you see overhead is the Monster.com blimp, which is providing our great live aerial shots today. Monster.com is the leading global careers website. And it doesn't get much more picturesque than that. The Astros at the moment lead the Central by 3 over Cincinnati. Cubs try to knock them back a half game. High pop into left. On charges Matt Miski. He's got it in the shadow of the lights. And Reed flies out the inning over, but a 3-run Henry Rodriguez homer doubles the Cub advantage. After 5, it's the Cubs 6, Houston nothing. In his 1999 Chicago Cub debut through 5. And Cub fans, Wednesday, August 11th is your chance to receive a limited edition Cubs Cabbage Patch Kids collectible in the Cubs road uniform. The first 10,000 kids 13 and under attending the Cubs Diamondbacks game get a Cubs Cabbage Patch Kids collectible with commemorative card, compliments of Kraft, Jewel, and CLTV. That Cabbage Patch Kid looks a lot like Arnie Harris.
No doubt.
So here we go to the Astros 6th. Billy Spires will lead it off. Spires played game 1 for the Astros. Batted in the number 2 spot. Went 1 for 4 with a single and scored 1 of their 6 runs. Can't pitch much better than Andrew Lorraine has pitched in this ball game. The wind blowing in very briskly and very wisely for Lorraine. He's gotten a lot of fly ball outs.
He's only walked 1 man while yielding just 2 hits.
2 balls and a strike. The Astros had a threat going in the first, but a missed sign perhaps. Jeff Bagwell and Derek Bell on a double steal was thrown out at third to end the inning. That was a big break in this ball game for the Cubs. Spires looks at strike 2. Ooh, where'd that breaking ball end up? I guess a little low. It's full, 3-2.
This one just out of the zone, and Spires able to check his swing. I think he was surprised by that one.
1 walk, 1 strikeout for Lorraine, who's retired 7 straight Houstonians. And that one rifled toward the right center field gap. Sammy on the run. Still going. Still going. Basket catch. He's got it. 1 down. I really believe he plays a better center field than he does right field.
Center field is an easier position to play than right field. Most guys will tell you that you can read the ball off the bat easier. It doesn't do quite as much. And Sammy, with the wind blowing in, has a chance to run under this one. And he makes the basket catch a la Willie Mays.
So 8 in a row retired by the Cub left-hander. And here's Biggio. He's got 1 of their 2 hits. The other man to do it is Derek Bell here in game 2. Later on tonight in the American League, the Texas Rangers host Toronto. And Pudge Rodriguez of the Rangers approaching a milestone. 1 stolen base away from becoming the first catcher with 20 homers and 20 stolen bases in the same season. And he's a real good player.
Well, you really don't want to stray too far off the bags with Pudge behind the plate, because he will pick you off in a heartbeat.
Minnesota's in Kansas City. Minnesota had a 15-11 month of July, their first winning month since August of '96. That's amazing, too. Biggio tried to bunt it and fouled it off Jeff Reed's bare hand. Twins are in KC tonight. Detroit's in Baltimore. Seattle hosts the Yankees. Tampa entertains Cleveland. Wade Boggs closing in on 3,000 hits. And as we told you, the White Sox are in Oakland. We'll be on the air with that at 9:30. Hawk Harrelson, Tom Paciorek will have the play-by-play at 9:30 Chicago time. The 1-2. Pulled foul past Mike Cubbage. And Biggio will do it again. Nice easy day for the bullpen so far.
Well, Farnsworth went 7 in the first game.
Lorraine just struck out Biggio. That ball skipped in front of home plate. 9 in a row have been retired, and that's his second punch out today.
Andrew continues to be terrific. Good pickup by Jeff Reed, and Biggio is down on strikes.
First pitch swinging, rifle shot by Johnson. Grace snares it, steps on the bag. 10 in a row retired by Andrew Lorraine. He is the story of game 2. He's navigated 6 shutout innings against the Astros. Outs in history based on a true story you don't want to miss. In the Line of Duty, the FBI murders, tomorrow night at 10:30 on WGN.
Andrew Lorraine in the on-deck circle. He should get a pretty good hand from this very appreciative Cub crowd.
First pitch to Gary Gaetti misses high for ball 1. Gary 1 for 2, an RBI single back in the second. Cubs scored 3 in the second, 3 in the fifth, and lead by a 6-0 tally. Right over the heart of the plate. 4 strike 2. Lights are coming on to try to minimize the shadows. Right now the pitcher has a bit of an advantage. Bright sunshine where Williams stands. Shade all the way across the batter's box at home plate. And Gaetti is down on strikes. Foul tipped into the glove of Randy Knorr. One away in the 6th. First strikeout for Williams. And boy, the unmistakable skyline of Chicago and the Wrigleyville neighborhood. Crown jewel, of course, Wrigley Field. And a nice hand indeed for Andrew Lorraine, who's handled the bat well today. A sacrifice helped lead the Cubs to that 3-run 4-hit second. And also was caught looking back in the 4th, but he's done the job on the mound. A 2-hit blanking of Houston so far. And he's ahead, 2 balls, no strikes.
Only thing that could make this day a little better would be his first major league hit.
Astros have been shut out just twice this year. Still a ways to go for that to happen, but he needs 9 more outs. He's gotten them with relative ease today. And a walk to Lorraine. Third walk issued by Astro pitching in today's game, too. And Andrews stands at first base with 1 man out for the dandy little glove man, Mickey Morandini. He's 1 for 3 with a couple of RBIs. That hit was a big one. A 2-out single in the 2nd. Put the Cubs up 3. So 1 on, 1 out. And Mickey looks at the ball low. Our senior producer director of Cubs baseball is Arnie Harris. Today's game on WGN produced by Pete Toma. Mark Brady is our associate producer, our stage manager, the lovely and talented Kathy Kerr, and our thanks to Bob Vorwald, the executive producer of WGN Sports. Our crew, great job today. All their extra efforts on this Double Dip Friday are very much appreciated. As always, giving you all those great shots of not just the pictures on the field, but the characters in the seats as well, which for so many years have been such a big part of Arnie Harris's coverage of Cubs baseball. And thanks a lot, guys, for all of your efforts. It's really, really appreciated. Have not gotten the all-important attendance guess quite yet, but I'm sure it's right around the corner. The 2-0 is sprayed out of play. 2 balls and a strike. Kevin Tapani, Scott Ellerton tomorrow in the 3rd game of this 4-game series. Tapani 6-9, a .450 earned run average. Ellerton, the crown jewel of their system, 5-3. He was the man that Houston refused to trade for Roger Clemens in the offseason, you'll recall.
That will turn out to be a very good deal.
Most of the ones you don't make usually are. The pitch. Ground ball right side. Biggio will surrender the base, take the sure out at first. Lorraine has to run the base paths. And there are now 2 men out for Nieves. Jose is 2 out of 2 today. He's also scored a run.
Jose had a base hit in the first game. He was 1 for 4. So 3 singles on the day, and he was hit.
Jose's played well since getting his minor league summons. The pitch. High fly ball hit to center. That's playable for Hidalgo. He comes charging in now with the wind blowing it back toward the infield. He's got it. The inning's over. No runs, no hits. 1 Cub left. That's Andrew Lorraine. He'll move on to the 7th. Bagwell, Bell, and Niesky in a 6-0 Cub shellacking. A 2-hit shutout through 6. And he leads it by a hefty 6-0 margin. But here we go to the 7th, where it gets a little dicier for him. He's got to face Bagwell, Bell, and Niesky for the Houston Astros. Lorraine His longest start in the major leagues is 6 innings and 2/3. He did that 5 years ago against the Texas Rangers. So here he goes against Bagwell. Bagwell walked and flied out today. He was also thrown out ill-advisedly trying to steal third base. 6-0 is our score. We're in the 7th. The pitch is chopped foul. And 0-1. As a player, do you like doubleheaders or not?
No.
And the reason why?
I just think it's difficult to win 2 games in one day. So if you play a real good first game, it's hard to put it together to win that second game.
No balls and a strike. Of course, back in the old days when the teams traveled by trains, they had doubleheaders a lot more frequently. They had an off day for travel so teams could get from point A to point B.
And now they really don't want to give away that particular date to schedule a doubleheader, so you have them strictly because of rainouts.
1-1. Now 2 balls and a strike. I would imagine even the toughest of the doubleheaders is the dreaded day-night doubleheader, where you sit around after you play that first game or go out and come back 3 hours later to play.
But it does allow you to get 2 gates in.
That's always important. High pop out of play. Hey, was that a pull shot, Arnie? Anybody in the plastic inflatable pool out there?
The pool is history.
They took their pool and went home. Two balls, 2 strikes in the top half of our 7th inning. The pitch. Now it's full to Bagwell, 3-2. Only 1 Andrew Lorraine walk, and ironically it was to this man Bagwell in the first inning. Three-two. Popped up and into the seats. Our guest conductor for Game 2 of our doubleheader today will be Hollywood actor Vince Vaughn. Very impressive resume. We'll talk to him about that in the bottom half of this inning. Bagwell, then Bell, then Miski in inning number 7. Pittsburgh has scored 2 against the Cardinals to take the lead. Did Bagwell go around? He went around! Bagwell can't believe it. Brian Gorman rings him up. 3rd Lorraine strikeout. 11 men in a row have been retired.
This slider dips down and in, and Bagwell cannot check his swing. So says Brian Gorman, and Bagwell down on strikes.
And that brings Derek Bell to the plate. He is 1 out of 2 today. Pirates lead the Cardinals 2-1 after 5 now. They're also playing a twin bill in Pittsburgh. First pitch swinging is Derek Bell, and it's out of play. Game 1 pitchers in Pittsburgh. Stevenson against Schmidt. Jose Jimenez with a no-hitter goes for the Cardinals in Game 2 against Anderson for the Pirates. 0-2 to Bell. Boy, he's just painting that outside corner with that off-speed stuff. Lorraine, a textbook example of not having to throw 95 miles an hour to be effective at the major league level. When you don't walk people, when you use your ballpark's dimensions, you have a chance to be a winner. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Thought you made a good point about this guy, Steve, in the open. Again, it's only 1 start, so let's not put him in the Hall of Fame quite yet, but he's just 26 years old.
You have to have a little patience, especially with left-handers. And sometimes the light will turn on a little bit later for some.
Swing and a miss. So Lorraine has equaled his longest start in his major league career. He's retired the last 12 Astros, and he rings up Bell for the 2nd time in the game. 4
strikeouts to go with 1 walk, and he's only given up 2 hits. One to Biggio, one to Bell, and they're both singles.
Lorraine was originally a 38th round pick in the 1980 draft by the Mets. Did not sign with them. Made it to the 4th round in 1993 with California. He was part of a big trade with the White Sox. 1995 came over to the White Sox with McKay Christensen, Bill Seamus, and John Snyder for Jim Abbott and Tim Fortunio. What a trade that was for the White Sox. 1 ball, no strikes to Miski, who was popped to second and bounced to second. He's 0 for 2. And he's about to be 0 for 3. Gaetti has it, and it's a new career high as far as innings pitched in a starting role for the Cub left-hander Andrew Lorraine. Here's Vince Vaughn with our 7th inning stretch.
Vince Vaughn. How are you? The Cubbies are money, baby. 1, 2, 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the cloud. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back, Morris. Root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's at the old ball game. Go Cubs!
2-hit shutout through 7. That's the most innings he's ever navigated as a major league starting pitcher. And he's got a huge lead. Steve Stone, Chip Carey, and Vince Vaughn, our guest conductor for the 7th inning stretch in today's game 2. Vince, welcome to beautiful Wrigley Field and welcome home.
Nice
Welcome
to be
back
home.
Chicago.
Nice to be back here. Beautiful day for a game here.
And it's a ball low to Grace. 2 balls and no strikes.
You guys have had a long day today, huh?
Well, it's well worth it as long as we win.
Yeah, definitely. When are you kids going to do the duet for the 7th inning? I heard that's in the works.
We've done that already.
We've done that before.
Yeah.
The last time we tried to do a duet was when Ditka was here, and he was late, and they almost booed us out of the booth. How are things going in Hollywood for you?
I can't complain. You know, it's nice to be home, I tell you that. I'm working on a film with Jennifer Lopez right now.
Oh, that's tough duty.
So that's tough duty, yeah. She's a nice gal.
Now let me look through your resume. You've gotten to work with Janine Garofalo, one of my
Yeah, she's great.
favorite. Is she as
she's
wacky
funny,
in person as she is on
She is,
on
but
the
she's
air?
sweet. She's made of sugar and breakaway glass. Under all that tough exterior, she's a sweetheart.
My favorite movie, I can't remember which one it was, but her line when she was playing the waitress in the...
was it Truth About Cats and Dogs?
Yeah, I think it was, where she was at the Medieval Nights as the waitress in Medieval Nights.
Oh, no, that was Cable Guy, I think.
Cable, that's it.
With Jim Carrey, yeah.
Where they asked her for the beverage, and how can you have... Yeah, how can you have
her wings.
Yeah,
She's
that was
funny, Janine.
awesome. Terrific actress, no doubt about it. But you've worked with her. You've got to work with Anne Hesh. It's not too shabby. And a lot of upcoming projects, too, with some other beautiful Hollywood stars.
Yeah, I've been lucky. I've definitely been lucky with that's concerned. Yeah.
Vince, I know you started at Second City, and that's really the starting place of so many people that went on to great Hollywood careers. How'd you get your break there?
Well, you know, I really worked with Del Close with the Improv Olympic and trained there for a while. And really good training. There goes Sammy there.
Missed it. He's behind 0-2.
And I think it's a good, kind of a good fundamental for any type of acting that you do, because it teaches you to sort of think for yourself and to be reactionary to whatever's happening, to take whatever happens and stay current with it. So it's good training for sure.
What was it like playing in the remake of the great Alfred Hitchcock classic Psycho?
Oh,
playing
man,
Norman Bates.
Bro, it was the most bizarre thing in the world. You know, you had Gus there running the show, and come on, Sammy.
Sammy hits a rocket into center field, but that's going to be playable for Hidalgo. The wind played a factor in that fly ball, and there's out number 1. Grace thought about tagging up, but he's back at first with 1 man out.
You know, we had a great cast in that. We had Bill Macy, Anne Heche, as you said, Julianne Moore, Viggo Mortensen, and so to work with those actors for me was great. You know, Robert Forster is a Chicagoan. He was in the film as well. So
I'm sure as an actor you saw the original movie Psycho, and did you feel any kind of extra pressure in trying to do the role as well as it was done in the original?
Well, you know, I didn't set out to do that. I don't think that's possible. I think Anthony Perkins did such a great job. But, you know, I kind of set out to do something a little more campier than the original.
Henry with a 3-run homer today pops it out of play. How can you do campy when someone's getting butchered in a shower?
Well, that was the thing. You know, it's such a strange thing that's never been done before, where you're sort of remaking something that's, you know, such an icon as far as films are concerned. So to work with Gus and that cast, and you know, it happens in music all the time. You see songs are remade, and it was just interesting to see nowadays with this cast specifically, and with Gus directing, what would come out of this material, you know. And so it was such a strange thing. It was, it's sort of like you see a play performed, and you're doing a performance of a play you've seen performed, but it's different because it's film and it's never been done before. So it was a really odd journey, but it was fun. It was fun to do.
The 1-1 pitch to Henry is outside. We're visiting with Vince Vaughn, Chicago native, big Hollywood superstar out west in Los Angeles. And you're also in the second Jurassic Park movie. What was it like being a part of that prehistoric cast?
It was fun for me. You know, I grew up watching Stevens films with E.T. and that stuff. So
ground ball off the glove of the pitcher and into center field for a hit. Grace will take third with one man out. Cubs threatening again.
So for me, it was like, you know, sort of when you're a kid in the suburbs and you sort of play cowboys and Indians. It was very much that sort of feel, except you had really cool toys and stuff to use, you know.
Was it difficult
I felt like such a
believe that there were dinosaurs?
I felt like such a loser because there's nothing in front of you and you're sitting there trying to act like you're reacting to something, and the crew's hungry and they want to go eat, and there I am like a knob hanging out there dying, you know, because I never did anything like that before. But it was fun. But yeah, you feel so goofy. You feel totally goofy doing that sort of thing. At least I did.
Well, now it's a lot easier because you have a lot of film credits behind you. But it says that you made your acting film debut in Swingers 1996. How do you get that first part?
Well, you know, Swingers was a strange situation because my friend John Favreau, who actually was out here too with Del Close and the Improv Olympic, I actually met him doing the film Rudy. He had a bigger part in Rudy. Mine had a smaller part that got cut down, but we became friends in that, and then he wrote Swingers. So it was kind of a movie that we worked on, and we were just trying to get made. It really wasn't about much except, you know, a bunch of guys trying to meet girls, which we thought was something people could relate to, you know. So we just tried to get that film made. So I would suggest to anybody the best way is to sort of write your own film. It's much harder to sort of, you know, look to other people to sort of cast you. But if you can write your own material and get fortunate enough to get it made, I think that's the best avenue in.
Like the Ben Affleck, Matt Damon situation?
Yeah. I know both those guys really well. They're nice guys. And they were in Hollywood. You know, I knew them way before.
Hill pops that up on the infield. Biggio comes in, takes charge. Basket catch, 2 out.
I knew both those guys, you know, prior to that film. Good Will Hunting, and they both were in different films before that coming out. But, you know, once again, them writing that film was really the thing that gave them the opportunities that they have now.
We've got 3 upcoming projects that sound very exciting. South of Heaven, West of Hell. That's a film with Billy Bob Thornton, Peter Fonda, Bridget Fonda.
Yes. Paul Rubens
with Joe Favreau, and Gelfin with Cuba Gooding Jr., an Academy Award winner as well.
He came here and sang Cuba.
He was terrific.
Terrific singer.
Well, I don't know about that, but he was a great guy.
Dwight Yoakam wrote the Western, the country singer, nice guy and a friend of mine, and he directed it as well.
Here's Jeff Reed. He's 0 for 3 on the day. Cubs 6, Astros nothing. We're in the second inning of Game 2 of this double dip with Vince Vaughn upstairs at Wrigley Field, and that's downstairs. Tell us about South of Heaven, West of Hell. What's that film going to be all about? When can we expect to see it?
Just kind of a psychobilly Western. You know, it's a smaller film. Despite the cast, it's got great actors in it. Like you said, Billy Bob's in it, and Peter and Bridget. Paul Rubens is in it. Actually, he was Pee Wee Herman. And it's just a strange, you know, character piece, and probably next year, hopefully, it'll come out sometime. 1 ball, no strikes. Do you like playing those creepy, campy kind of roles like you said, or do you want to play just a regular Joe Average actor on TV? I'm trying to get a script set up about you guys. I've been trying to get set up. I'd like to play you guys if I could. That would probably be my ideal thing. We have enough trouble playing ourselves too. A couple fun-loving guys who like to laugh. You know what I mean? The 2-0 pitch is outside. 3 balls and no strikes. So if you ever want to write a movie about a guy that never picks up the check, Arnie Harris is the guy that. Is he? You should definitely. Now, what's it like when you guys go on break? Do you guys get along still? Or is there ever a situation between you two in the booth here? No, we're fine. You're fine? Well, especially you see how far we're separated. Right. I was wondering. But, you know, 20 feet apart, so we can't get at one another most of the time. High fly down the left field line, out of play by Jeff Reed. And the count moves to 3 balls and a strike. But we've got
Obviously, a wonderful job. We get to do something we love on a daily basis, is watch Major League Baseball.
Absolutely. And the Cubs, nonetheless, so you can't beat that.
No doubt about it.
Play mostly day games, so you're able to lead a fairly normal life. And when you have a year like last year, where you have some great stories and the Cubs
great
do well,
story.
It's one of the great experiences that you can be involved in.
Absolutely.
Reed walks to load the bases for the Cubs. That's the third walk for Williams in the game, second of the inning. And now Gary Gaetti with those 11 career grand slams, and 2 of them this year. A chance to add another one for the Cubs and break open what's already a big Cub lead.
Yeah, what a great year last year with the home run race and the Cubs making it in the wild card spot. It was a great year to watch.
And Kerry Wood bursting on the scene and striking out 21
Absolutely.
games. So
and I hear he's doing well in the recovery process.
Yes,
is that true?
We're hoping for early next year sometime, next season. And
yeah, it'd be great to have him back.
Well, I think the Cubs would dearly love to be able to pencil him in, but right now it's so iffy. You never really know when you come back from a serious injury and the surgery that he came back from, what you're going to come back with. But he's got youth on his side. He's still a very young man.
Well, I love watching him, so I definitely wish him the best and wish him a safe recovery.
1 ball, no strikes to Gary Gaetti. The bases full of Cubs in game 2 of this double dip. And the pitch. And what do you miss most about this great city as you live out on the West Coast?
I tell you, I miss everything about it. You don't find nicer people than here in Chicago, and the restaurants and just the overall feeling of Chicago. The museums, it's a wonderful town, and all my family's still here and that sort of thing. But, I've sort of made my peace with Los Angeles. I've made friends out there, which makes it nice. But as far as the city and enjoying a city, you can't beat Chicago.
Yeah, the weather's a little more predictable out in Los Angeles.
True, but the summertime here,
more unpredictable.
Yeah, and the summertime here is the greatest. With Taste of Chicago and the Blues Fest and everything that goes on, and people walking around. You really don't get that same kind of feel in Chicago. Los Angeles, everyone's in their cars most of the time. It's a different feeling.
Stuck in traffic. 2 balls and a strike. High pop. That's playable at third for Johnson or Spires. It's Johnson at foul ground. He's got it. Vince, a great pleasure to meet you.
All the best. Good luck. Enjoy hearing you guys.
Welcome
and
home.
A pleasure to meet you guys. Thanks for having me.
The Astros
nice to see you.
6-0 after 7 innings. Here's a look at Wrigley Field. Once again, 6-0 our score. After 7 innings, our Ameritech playbook has got to be Andrew Lorraine. He's rung up Derek Bell twice. He's retired 13 in a row, Steve.
And what a story Andrew Lorraine has been today. 2 hits through 7, his longest major league outing, and that's why he is our Ameritech player of the game.
91 pitches unofficially through 7 innings for him. It's the longest stint as a major league starter. His last major league win was September 6th of 1997. He beat Kansas City 9-3.
And we're going to probably see Billy Wagner just to pick up an inning. He hasn't thrown in so long that they'd want to try to keep him sharp. He's loosening up in the bullpen.
Lower portion of the Astro order here in the 8th. Hidalgo, Knorr, and then the pitcher's spot is due, and Lorraine misses with ball 1 to Hidalgo, who's 0 for 2 in our second game.
And if Andrew works this inning as well as he's worked the others, he'll get the lead off against Billy Wagner.
Oh, I'm sure he'll enjoy that. A little bouncing ball through the right side by Hidalgo, and that's the first Houston hit since the 3rd inning. It snaps a string of 13 straight retired by the Cubs left-hander. Now Randy Knorr stands in. Knorr is hitless today. Slide to center and pop to the catcher. Knorr on the year is 1 for 19, and he has yet to hit into a double play.
Well, this could be number 1 if he hits the ball on the ground.
He did hit it on the ground, but pulled it foul. Story of 2 games for Lorraine, too, Steve. Early on, the first 2 innings, 3 innings of this ball game, a lot of flyouts. Then in the 4th, in the 5th, 6th, 7th, the strikeout ball, and then the ground ball started to take over for him.
He started to use the slider a little bit more as he got more comfortable with the appearance.
1 ball, 1 strike.
He used a lot of fastballs early. We go back to that first inning, and again, it certainly helped him out as Bagwell got thrown out trying to steal third base. Niesky was up with 2 on and 2 out in that first inning.
There's that ground ball. 6-4. And the turn is in time. 6-4-3 double play.
That was a slow developing 6-4-3. But with the catcher running down the line, you figure you've got some time. And Mickey Morandini tries to get away from Hidalgo. He's able to do that. And they get the double play by a step.
So Carlos Hernandez, a young infielder, will stand in. He'll pinch hit for Williams. Carlos Hernandez is 1-for-7 with the Houston team this year. He's just 23 years old, out of Caracas, Venezuela. Non-drafted free agent by the Astros in 1992. Last year at AAA New Orleans, stole 29 bases, hit .298.
And they'd probably like to see him playing every day. So, you know, when Ricky Gutierrez comes back, it'll probably be Hernandez that will be sent down to get some play. An unusual batting style.
It's a sharply diving stop by Mickey. From his knees, throws him out. And the inning is over. Nothing doing for Houston in the 8th. Andrew Lorraine needs 3 outs for the complete game shutout as the Cubs lead at 6-zip.
And just as soon he'd take a few pitches. And if he strikes out, so be it. Billy Wagner on the hill.
Wagner needs a tune-up. Hey! Stuck his nose in there and fouled it away.
That got a piece of somebody down behind the Cub dugout.
Billy Wagner needs a tune-up. Like a Ferrari needs more horsepower. What a terrific pitcher this guy is. Dynamite in a very small package, but he just says, here's my fastball, fellas. It's coming in at 99. And Andrew Lorraine.
I think he's going to be the 85th strikeout in 49 2/3 innings. And that'll be okay the way he's pitched today.
Right down the middle, Lorraine takes it for strike 3 called, but he'll still get a huge ovation from this crowd, and well, he should. He has been absolutely terrific today. 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th. 3 runs for the Cubs in the second. An RBI single by Gaetti. Mickey Morandini drove in 2 with a single in that frame as well. The big blow of Henry Rodriguez, 3-run homer in the bottom of the 5th inning. Right through there to Mickey, who's 1 for 4 today. Broken bat grounder to short. Billy Spires gloves, grabs, guns. 2 men down. And the shooter Rod Beck loosening up. And here's Jose Nieves. Jose had a fine day today. It's been on base 3 times, hit but once, 2 singles and runs scored. And again, he continues to make all the plays with the glove after a case of the yips in his first major league start earlier in the homestand.
He's going to get every opportunity to show the Cubs that that position should be his next year. So far, he's looked pretty good.
Low, 2 balls, no strikes. This day belongs to Andrew Lorraine. Game 2, that is. Game 1 belonged to Carl Everett, who drove in 5 of Houston's 6 runs. Right through there. Pirates lead the Cardinals 2-1 in the bottom of the 6th inning. Game 1 of their doubleheader. Davis fouls it back. Good test for him. Don't have many guys like this in AAA, do they?
No, indeed. And he has added a dynamite slider to go with that fastball. He's just trying to get it over here today. And you think Mark Grace is rooting for Nieves to maybe pop it up?
I would think so. The 2-2 pitch. Foul back. By the way, our attendance today, 39,109. Once again, I was a little closer than Steve was.
Yeah, but still well off the mark.
We were both well off. Neither one can claim a victory today.
But an excellent day here at Wrigley Field.
Inside.
Southwest Airlines plane view camera will take a look at one that missed Jose. Not many have recently.
The Cubs have gone over 1.8 million fans. A high chop toward third. Johnson stretches out, throws off balance, and in time to just eclipse Nieves at the first base bag, and Wagner has a 1-2-3. Eighth inning. We go to the ninth. Andrew Lorraine looks for the complete game shutout for the Cubs. It's 6-0. John Blimp and its Eye in the Sky camera have been proud to provide you with these live shots 1,000 feet above Wrigley Field. Monster.com, the leading global careers website. And our thanks to our fine crew up above. Beautiful panoramic pictures all day long as the Cubs try to split this doubleheader here at Wrigley Field. And Bill Spires takes the ball low as we go to the ninth inning. Andrew Lorraine in uncharted territory. He's never pitched this far as a starting pitcher in the big leagues. An 8th inning, 3-hit shutout against Houston in Game 2 of the double dip.
That is 101 pitches. Now Terry Adams has joined Rod Beck in the pen just in case Andrew needs a little help. I'd like to see him finish it up.
At one point, Lorraine retired 13 men in a row from the 4th inning to the 7th. And Spires takes a strike as we approach the 6 o'clock hour here in Chicago. Don't forget, later tonight, it's the White Sox and the Athletics. Hawk and Wimpy will have it for you beginning at 9:30 Chicago time here on WGN. A high pop. Shallow left. Nieves out. Henry in. He's got it. One man down. I can't recall when the last time a man making his Cub debut fired a complete game shutout.
I just remember Jose Guzman doing that. And I'm not sure who did it in between. But there's 2 outs to go. And it still won't be easy with Biggio, Johnson, if anybody gets on Bagwell.
Again, Houston's been blanked just 2 times all year long. So this would be quite a feather in the cap of Mr. Lorraine indeed if he can get the job done. But Biggio and Johnson, the last 2 obstacles here in the 9th inning. He's got the huge cushion. The wind's been blowing in briskly all day. He's gotten a lot of fly ball outs. One ball, 1 strike to Biggio, the 7-time Houston All-Star. Right through there, 1-2.
The only hits today, Biggio, Bell, and Hidalgo. 3 singles.
Here comes the 1-2. It's 2-2. Pirates have added 2 more against the Cardinals. They lead the Redbirds 5-1. That game now moves to the 7th in Pittsburgh. Here's the 2-2. Ground ball left side. Nieves has it. He throws across. 2 down in the 9th. And what's left of the crowd of over 39,000 now, as has become a Wrigley Field tradition, they rise as one. And Andrew Lorraine needs 1 more out for his first complete game shutout in the major leagues. Johnson ground ball. Grace has. He'll step on the bag and the Cubs shut him out. A complete game win for Andrew Lorraine, a 3-hitter over the Central Division leading Houston Astros. Just a magnificent pitching performance, and the Cubs, Steve, salvaged the doubleheader split.
We'll talk about a man saving the day. It started out ignominiously and ended up on a huge high note. Andrew Lorraine with a 3-hit shutout. And what a job the young man did today.
Andrew Lorraine, just up from AAA, has won for the first time in the big leagues in quite some time. A complete game 2-hitter as the Cubs beat the Astros 6-0. Our final score, totals, highlights, and more right after this.
Okay, Louie, take it away.
Final score, the Cubs salvaged the doubleheader split. Our bunt play of the game, a 3-run homer in the 5th by Henry Rodriguez off Sean Bergman. That gave the Cubs the 6-0 advantage and all the offense they would need, as Andrew Lorraine was absolutely magnificent in his Cub debut. His first win since September of 1997 in the big leagues. Back with a final word from Wrigley right after this. There's 3 scratch singles by the Astros. Henry Rodriguez, a 3-run homer, and the Cubs split this doubleheader with the Astros with 2 more games to follow this weekend. Our next telecast of Cubs baseball comes your way Monday evening when Matt Williams and the Arizona Diamondbacks come to town. Join us at 7 o'clock for Game 1 of that 3-game series. Good seats still available for the Cubs and the D-backs. First Andrew Lorraine win in the big leagues since September 6th of 1997. His first complete game, his first shutout, his first win as a Cub. 6-0 our final score for Steve Stone, Arnie Harris, and our entire crew. This is Chip Carey. We'll see you Monday. Until then, so long, everybody.
Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN was brought to you by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, who reminds you fresh beer tastes better. Ameritech, in a world of technology, people make the difference. Pepsi, the joy of cola. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. And by Southwest Airlines, offering low fares and frequent flights. Southwest Airlines, the official airline of the Chicago Cubs.
This. Score! Moreland is slow getting it. Here comes Wiggins. Here comes the third of the play. He's sick. The third is win. 5-3. San Diego.
Tony Gwynn reaching 3,000 on this night. Astros and Cubs playing a doubleheader. Cubs having a moment of silence before the game to honor Jack Brickhouse. He died a year ago Friday. Top of the first, no score. Kyle Farnsworth giving one up to Carl Everett and gone. 3-run shot. 12th of the year. He's just off the DL with a pulled hammy. I guess he looks healthy. It's 3-0. Jose Lima pitching very well.
Right, and this is why hitting the baseball is the hardest thing in the world to do. How do you hit this pitch? Hard slider away. Benito Santiago just waving at it here. Watch. Again, same pitch, hard slider away.
Especially when they pause like that. It's tough to pick up.
It's almost a bulk move, I think. Lima and Mike Hampton now right up there on top of the world. 6-1. The Astros beat the Cubs. Lima tying his teammate Hampton, Ken Bottenfield, and the Cards with a league lead in victories. Everett 4 for 5, 4 RBIs. And Sammy Sosa, by the way, was 0 for 3. Second game of that doubleheader, Astros and Cubs. Because it is a doubleheader, they don't change teams or anything. Jim Riggleman team played well defensively. Top of the third, Russ Johnson rips one from Andrew Lorraine. Nieves makes a nice play. Get out Biggio at second. Top 6, Billy Spires drives one from Lorraine to right center. And here's Sammy with a basket catch. Same inning, Russ Johnson smokes a grounder. You know Gracie's got the glove over there. Top of the 8th, it was more like a liner, didn't it? Top of the 8th, more defense. Carlos Hernandez hits it. Morandini, the good play. Cubs win, Cubs win. Andrew Lorraine matches the Cubs staff shutout total with 1. His first complete game, first shutout, first big league win in nearly 2 years. All of this happening one day to being called up for Iowa.
Got a chance to see Sammy Sosa patrolling center field out there, showing off his ability to range.
And Sammy Sosa made the nice play with the glove. He did have no homers in the doubleheader, 1 for 7 on the day in the doubleheader. Baseball tonight comes back. We will hear from the latest member of the 3,000 hit club, Tony Gwynn. Hear his thoughts in just a